Modern terrorism in Northern Africa began not with a single event, but with the quiet spread of radical ideas in the 1990s. Economic hardship, political repression, and disillusionment among youth created fertile ground for extremism. Charismatic preachers wove together religious and political grievances, offering simple answers to complex problems. For many young men facing unemployment, these ideologies provided purpose and identity. The end of the Cold War left many in Northern Africa feeling abandoned by global change. Authoritarian governments failed to meet basic needs, creating a vacuum extremists filled by offering social services and community. Veterans of the Soviet-Afghan War returned, bringing military skills and radical worldviews. These networks spread through mosques, universities, and informal gatherings, building a base of support. The 1990s laid the ideological and social foundations for the violence that would follow. The ideas of global jihad, popularized by figures like Osama bin Laden, found a receptive audience. This period set the stage for decades of turmoil. The Algerian Civil War, erupting in 1992, turned extremist ideology into brutal reality. After the military cancelled elections, Islamists saw peaceful political change as impossible. Armed struggle became the only path. The war lasted a decade, killing up to 200,000 people and normalizing extreme violence. The Armed Islamic Group, GIA, became infamous for massacres and terror, targeting anyone seen as an enemy. Algeria became a training ground for jihadists, and the conflict spilled into the wider Maghreb and Sahel. Militants fled into the Sahara, forging alliances with local tribes and smugglers, creating a transnational threat. The war militarized extremism, transforming ideological circles into networks of battle-hardened fighters. Lessons learned in Algeria spread across the region. The conflict left deep scars, a generation of fighters, and a more resilient terrorist threat. When the war ended, militants carried their weapons and ideology elsewhere. The legacy, a region haunted by violence and instability. The Algerian Civil War was a turning point for North African terrorism. From the ashes of Algeria's war, the Salafist Group for Preaching and Combat GSPC emerged, seeking a broader jihadist mission. In 2007, the GSPC pledged allegiance to Osama bin Laden, becoming Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, AQM. AQM gained international prestige, funding, and a global network, evolving from a local insurgency to a regional franchise. The group adopted Al-Qaeda's tactics, including suicide bombings, and expanded its targets to Western interests and regional governments. AQM shifted operations into the Sahel, embedding within local communities and exploiting ethnic and political grievances. Financing came from kidnapping for ransom, turning hostages into a lucrative business. AQM's blend of global jihad and local concerns made it a potent force. The group established cells in Mali, Niger, and Mauritania, training other extremists. AQM became a central node in a web of instability across North and West Africa. Its rise transformed the region's security landscape. The banner of Al-Qaeda now flew over the Sahara. Muammar Gaddafi's iron-fisted rule in Libya kept extremism in check, but his 2011 fall unleashed chaos. Rival militias, once united against Gaddafi, turned on each other, and the central government collapsed. Extremist groups, including AQM and ISIS affiliates, found a haven in Libya's lawless environment. Libya's vast weapons stockpiles were looted, flooding the black market with arms. These weapons flowed south, arming extremist groups in Mali, Niger, and beyond. Libya became a superhighway for militants and weapons, exporting instability across the region. The country's collapse transformed small insurgencies into formidable forces. The dream of a democratic Libya gave way to a fractured state fueling regional terrorism. The 2011 crisis fundamentally altered Africa's security landscape. Libya's fall was the first domino in a chain of regional crises. The shockwaves are still felt today. The Libyan crisis became a continental crisis. Instability from Libya's collapse spread across the Sahel, overwhelming fragile states like Mali and Niger. In 2012, northern Mali fell to Tuareg rebels, then to Islamist groups armed with Libyan weapons. French intervention pushed extremists from cities, but they regrouped in rural areas, fueling a deadly insurgency. Violence spread to Burkina Faso, Niger and beyond, creating one of the world's deadliest conflict zones. Boko Haram in Nigeria expanded its terror across borders, pledging allegiance to ISIS. Millions have been displaced and entire communities destroyed. The Sahel is now a battleground of jihadists, militias, and criminal networks. Yet resilience and hope persist among the region's people. Lasting peace requires addressing poverty, injustice, and weak governance, not just military force. The future depends on the courage and determination of those who refuse to give in to fear.